Hello everyone, welcome back to GramMathics, where we have been practicing some 11 plus exam style questions. Now, because so many of you requested me in the classes, I will continue to make some videos of common but tricky questions, or if it's a new topic for you. So, this week we have been learning algebra. So, we learned that we can solve the wordy problems using algebra by assigning the unknown as x. And occasionally we will find that some questions will have more than one unknown. So, although this is common in higher grades and not expected in 11 plus exams, but you never know. So, we still need to be prepared just in case. Let me solve one problem for you and hope you will understand the basic methodology about how to approach such problems. If you still do not understand or have a different but a trickier problem, please send that as a comment or ask me after the grammatics class. So here is the problem statement. A merchant sells a mix of nuts and dried fruits. I already see two different items, nuts and dried fruits. 4 kilograms of nuts and 2 kilograms of dried fruits cost 18. So I have been given a combination of different quantities of nuts and dried fruits that cost a certain amount. 3 kilograms of nuts and 1 kilogram of dried fruits cost 11. So I have been given a different combination of quantities of nuts and dried fruit that cost a different amount. What is the cost per kilogram of each? So read carefully. What is the cost per kilogram of each? Per kilogram is 1 kilogram. Each is nut and dry fruit. So 1 kg of nut and 1 kg of dried fruit, which is why I will start my solution as let the cost of 1 kilogram of nuts be n. And for nuts, you can choose x or y that we generally choose in algebra. Similarly, let the cost of 1 kg of dried fruits be d. So going back to the problem statement, cost per kilogram of each, which means cost of 1 kg of each. So if we get the value of n and d in terms of a number, then that is our final answer. Now to find those values of n and d, we need to create equations from the statements provided. The first statement is 4 kilograms of nuts and 2 kilograms of dried fruits cost 18. 1 kg of nuts is n. So what will be 4 kilogram of nut? 4 times n. And similarly, 2 kilograms of dried fruits will be 2 times d. Together, they will become 4 times n plus 2 times d equal to 18, right? So we can write 4n plus 2d equal to 18. So what will be our second equation based on second statement? 3 kilograms of nuts and 1 kilogram of dried fruits cost 11. So 1 kg of dried fruits is d, which is already here as d, and 1 kg of nuts is n, which means 3 kg of nuts will be 3n. So together as combination, this will become 3n plus 1d equal to 11, right? So now we have got two equations with two variables, and how to solve two equations with two variables. I generally give a tip that find out the easiest coefficients in terms of taking a LCM. So we have variable n for which we have coefficients 4 and 3. 4 and 3 will give you a LCM of 12, pretty easy. But we also have variable d, and coefficient for d are 2 and 1 in the two equations, which is even easier. LCM of 2 and 1 is 2. But why do we take LCM? The aim of doing this is to eliminate one of the variables by making their coefficients equal, and then you are left with only the other variable So it becomes easier to solve the equation. So getting the LCM of D as 2 here, 2 and 1 as 2, allows me to manipulate my equations in a manner that I will have a common coefficient, like I will have 2D in equation 1 and 2D in equation 2. And then if I subtract 2D from 2D, D is gone. Only N will be left. Let's see step by step, okay? So my first step is multiply the equation number 2 by 2 on both sides, and by now you would have understood why I'm doing that. I'm multiplying this equation by 2 so that my 1D will become 2D, and if I am multiplying D, I have to multiply other terms also to keep the consistency of the equation and be fair on all the terms here. So my equation will become 6n, which is 2 times of 3n, plus 2d, which is 2 times of 1d, equal to 22, which is 2 times of 11. So I've simply multiplied every term in the equation by 2 so that my coefficient of d is same as my coefficient of d in the other equation. And the other equation, I will keep it as it is in this question because it says 2d. So my other equation is 4n plus 2d equal to 18, and my new equation is 6n plus 2d equal to 22. Because 6n is bigger than 4n, so I will subtract equation number 1 from equation number 3. So this is my third step. So when I say subtract equation from another equation, it means subtract the corresponding variables. So subtract n's from n's, subtract d's from d's, and subtract constants from constants. Yeah. So when I subtract 6n, when I do 6n minus 4n, it gives me 2n. When I subtract 2d from 2d, it gives me 0. And when I subtract 18 from 22, it gives me 4. So I have done subtraction on each individual term, which are unique terms, n, d, and constant. So I have 2n equal to 4, which means n is equal to 2. And that means the nuts cost per kg is 2 pounds, right? Now I've got n, I still have to find d. For finding d, I simply substitute the value of n in any of the 3 equations I have here. And I will choose the easiest equation, which is equation number 2, because the coefficient of d here is simply 1. So I choose this equation. I say 3n plus 1d is 11. And when I substitute the value of n, it makes it 3 times 2 plus d equal to 11, which is nothing but 6 plus d equal to 11, nothing but d equal to 11 minus 6. And that gives me dried fruits equal to 5 pounds per kg. 11 minus 6 is 5. So now I've got n equal to 2, d equal to 5. This is my final answer. It will be a good practice to substitute both n and d in the other equation. The other equation is equation number 1, 4n plus 2d equal to 18. Let's see what happens when we substitute the value of n and d. Are both sides equal or not? So 4n becomes 8 because 4 times 2 is 8. 2d becomes 10 because 2 times 5 is 10. And 8 plus 10 is 18, which is same as your right hand side. So 18 equal to 18. It is a check completed, and I'm more confident that my solution is correct. I hope you learned something here and you understood how we solve 2 equations with 2 variables. So this is your homework.